Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. It's Thursday, September 17th. This is your afternoon update for all the things that are topping the headlines at WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Thank you for choosing to be here to get filled in on everything that's happening here in Northeast Ohio. First up, today there is another person charged in the murder of Cleveland Police Detective James Skernivitz. 18-year-old David McDaniel was indicted today for the murder of Skernivitz, as well as Scott Dingus, the man who was with him on an undercover operation when he died in early September. The police say that McDaniel and two juveniles, ages 17 and 15, went up to the car where Skernivitz and Dingus were sitting, shot them both, and then ran away. Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Michael O'Malley said, sadly, these types of random, senseless homicides happen in our community nearly every day. This time, the victims were a police officer on duty to make our community a better place and a citizen who volunteered to assist him. Two families are now without fathers, and the entire community is left heartbroken due to yet another instance of senseless gun violence. So McDaniel, 18 years old, was indicted on 4 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of tampering with evidence. There were also 2 other adults who have been charged. Brittany Cremines, 24, and Antonio Darby, 27, have also been charged with 2 counts of obstructing justice and 1 count of tampering with evidence. As for the 17-year-old and the 15-year-old, they have also been charged in juvenile court with aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, and felonious assault. During the press conference today, Governor Mike DeWine updated us on the number of counties that are at a level 3 alert based on the new public health advisory system here in Ohio. Those 5 counties are Butler, Mercer, Montgomery, Portage, and Putnam. Portage County specifically moved to level 3 as a result of, according to Governor Mike DeWine, off-campus gatherings at off-campus houses and Greek housing, which is off-campus at Kent State University. So, in response to this, Kent State University is making some changes. They will not have any dine-in services on campus. So if you get your meals on campus at Kent State University, you won't be able to go into a dining hall. They will be serving takeout only. So of course, you'll still be able to get your meals, but you won't be able to eat them there. You'll have to take it to go. And only students who live on campus will be allowed to enter residence halls. Governor Mike DeWine says that 51% of the cases reported in Portage County this month have been from people under 29 years old. Here in Northeast Ohio, Summit County has been taken off level 3 status this week, so now at level 2 status. Now let's take a look at those latest numbers for COVID-19 from the Ohio Department of Health. Today, as compared to yesterday, new reported cases are up, and new deaths are down, and hospitalizations are also down. In the last 24 hours, there have been 1,067 COVID-19 cases reported to the Ohio Department of Health. Again, remember, that doesn't mean there have been 1,067 positive cases in the last 24 hours, but reported today to the Ohio Department of Health. Our 7-day average positivity rate is 3.5%, so that is below that 5% recommended threshold from the World Health Organization. That means for the tests that have been done over the last 7 days, 3.5% are coming back positive for COVID-19. In the last 24 hours, there have been 25 new deaths related to COVID-19 reported. That's down from yesterday when there were 49 new deaths reported, and the previous day when there was a very large number of 87 new deaths reported. So the total number of deaths now related to COVID-19 is 4,580 here in Ohio. New hospitalizations are down. In the last 24 hours, there have been 65 new hospitalizations, and a total of 638 people are currently hospitalized. That's down 13 from yesterday. As part of those 638 who are hospitalized, 214 are receiving treatment in an intensive care unit right now. So that's about 1/3 of all people who are hospitalized right now are being treated in an ICU. And in the last 24 hours, we've seen 15 new people admitted to the ICU related to COVID-19. Our hospital bed occupancy rate is 76%, so 24% of our hospital beds are available right now for people who need inpatient treatment at our hospitals. Now let's take a look at those national and global numbers for COVID-19. These numbers come from Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. continues to get very, very close to 200,000 reported COVID-19 deaths. Globally, we are now at nearly 30 million reported cases and are fast approaching 1 million deaths. Here's how the numbers break down. In the U.S., there are now 6,649,458 cases of COVID-19 that have been reported, and a total of 197,223 deaths that have been reported. So as you can see, very close to 200,000. As you know, the U.S. has about 4.25% of the global population, but we have 21% of the deaths and 22.2% of the global cases related to COVID-19. Globally, the total number of cases that have been reported very close to 30 million, now at 29,960,718. Very likely that could, by the end of the day, reach 30 million or possibly tomorrow. In terms of the total number of deaths globally, that number is now 942,631. We started this week globally with 926,000 deaths. You can see that number is increasing very quickly, approaching that 1 million mark. Here in Northeast Ohio, Cleveland Cavaliers star Kevin Love has been very open about his mental health, and he has a new piece out in the Players Tribune. It was in 2008 when he first came forward with a piece in the Players Tribune about his mental health called "Everyone is Going Through Something," talking about his battle with anxiety. So now, 2 years later, he has another message. This is an update on his mental health situation and speaking to people who also are dealing with mental health issues. He's titled this piece, "To Anybody Going Through It." And when he opens the piece, he talks about what people don't understand is how it can be very exhausting just to continue on when you're dealing with depression, anxiety, or any mental health disorder, and that he himself has been very exhausted. And that's been on his mind a lot, he says in the piece, as the nation is dealing with an unprecedented pandemic and also a reckoning with racial injustice for something that has caught the national attention at a level that we've not seen in quite some time here in the U.S. Throughout the piece, Love says that even after all the work that he's done on himself over the last 2.5 years, some days are just brutal, and there are still some days when he just doesn't want to get out of bed. He talks about the support that helped him get through. He said if it hadn't been for a couple of his closest friends, he doesn't know if he would be here today telling his story. And he talks about how it can be tough to figure out what you need. It was in 2018, early 2018, during a game in Atlanta when Kevin Love had an anxiety attack. And he talks about the trainer asking him in that moment, "What do you need?" Well, it took him some time to realize that what he needed was to talk to someone and to feel that he wasn't alone. So he closes out the piece by letting people know, if you're struggling right now, he says, "I can't tell you that this is going to be easy, but I can tell you that it does get better, and I can tell you that you are definitely not alone," sending that message of solidarity. We have that full piece linked on WKYC.com and our WKYC app if you'd like to read Kevin Love's latest piece on mental health for the Players Tribune. Here's some incredible news out of university hospitals. A family has donated $10 million to the University Hospital's Seidman Cancer Center. This is Joe Wesley and his wife, Kimberly. They've donated $10 million. So Joe Wesley is an immunotherapy patient at UH. He said he started getting treatment there for a cancerous growth that was on his face after other treatments, the typical treatments that you think of, radiation, chemotherapy, didn't work. And he said the growth was originally the size of a 50-cent piece, but after going through immunotherapy, he says now it's smaller than a dime, and he is actually cancer-free. So he believes so much in immunotherapy that he's donating $10 million to the university hospital system, and this will establish what's going to be called the Wesley Center for Immunotherapy at UH Seidman Cancer Center. So Wesley says that they're firm believers in the power of immunotherapy, and they want others to benefit from this leading-edge innovation. You might be wondering what immunotherapy is. Well, the idea behind immunotherapy is helping a patient's own immune system identify and attack cancer cells. Clinical trials have shown increased rates of remission and survival, as well as less side effects compared to conventional chemotherapy. So this gift will let UH expand its immunotherapy lab and make it one of the top 5 centers for immunotherapy in the U.S. President and Chief Scientific Officer at UH Seidman Cancer Center, Dr. Ted Teknos, says that immunotherapy has shown promise in treating melanomas, lung cancers, blood cancers, even cystic fibrosis, and rheumatoid arthritis. Right now, people typically think, according to the medical professionals, of immunotherapy as the 4th option to cancer patients. This is after chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. So the hope is with this gift, and as they continue to explore this option at university hospitals, the hope is it might replace those other treatments and be a first option for some patients to try. And $10 million will go a long way toward making that happen. So obviously the Wesley family believes very strongly in this type of treatment. Now let's switch gears and look forward to Halloween. Obviously, we know that some places here in Northeast Ohio have decided not to have trick-or-treating. Some places are moving ahead with it, saying, yes, we will have trick-or-treating hours and people can opt in or opt out as they choose. Well, a man in Cincinnati is putting his own spin on making trick-or-treating just a little bit safer for people who might be concerned about going out in public with those groups of people and all of the touching of the candy and the handling and the getting in close contact. His name is Andrew Beatty. He's from the Cincinnati area. He has created his own candy chute, and it's pretty simple the way he did it. He took a 6x4 shipping tube, he painted the thing orange, he put some duct tape on it, and he put it on his guardrail so it goes from the front porch to the sidewalk. He shared this on social media. Obviously, everybody loved it. It was a very big deal. It took off. Lots of shares, lots of comments, lots of likes, all that good stuff. So the way it works is you drop the candy in the chute from the porch, and the trick-or-treaters stand at the bottom with their bag, and they don't have to touch anything. So he also says he'll wear a mask, and the candy will be sealed until he puts it in the chute, and he'll change his gloves frequently, so be limiting the amount of contact so that trick-or-treaters in his neighborhood are able to do it with as little contact as possible, at least when it comes to his house. Beatty said, even if some people are completely comfortable with where things are right now, there are a lot of people that aren't, and he thinks that if they can see people doing things like this, it'll give them just a little bit of grace. It might encourage more people to get involved and get out there and feel okay about getting out there and getting things looking back sort of to the way that they looked prior to the fact that we all started dealing with a pandemic unexpectedly in the year 2020. So kudos to Beatty. That sounds pretty cool. You can check the whole thing out on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Now, one more reminder tonight, in case you needed it, is game day. The Cleveland Browns are taking on the Cincinnati Bengals tonight. Kickoff is at 8:20 p.m. That'll be at First Energy Stadium, but only a few people of the usual amount of people will be able to be inside the stadium. The Browns have been approved for 6,000 people in the stadium, so that's what that'll look like today. Lots of precautions in place, but if you want to watch it, you have some options. You can watch it on TV on the NFL Network, or you can stream it on CBS All Access. You can also stream it on the Browns app and Browns.com, but that has to be on a mobile device. I learned that the hard way, trying to get that to work on my smart TV on Sunday, and about an hour and the first half later, finally figured out how to get it to show up on my TV. That was after I bought a streaming service in order to watch it. So these are your options if you want to watch it today when that kicks off at 8:20 p.m. And you can also listen on ESPN 850 on 92.3 The Fan and 98.5 WNCX. And here on WKYC, we will have a live blog with updates throughout the game from our digital reporter, Ben Axelrod. He is our head of our digital sports situation here at WKYC. Follow him on Twitter for sure at Ben Axelrod, and we'll be tweeting out the updates as well as those articles get posted. That'll be at WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Here's hoping for a victory Friday, and we can talk about that tomorrow. That's it for your 3 News Now afternoon update for Thursday, September 17th. I'll see you on What's New at 5 p.m. with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment. You can watch that live for free in the WKYC app as well. And then I'll see you back here tomorrow for 3 News Now. Everyone enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Stay safe. Be well. I'm Stephanie Haney. Go Browns.